we hadn't really worked with water to the same degree as Halpern and the West Coast landscape architects. I think partly because we were, colder weather and fountains just wasn't quite as much a part of our culture. Friedberg, of course, was working with water, and that was good. And Paul was a friend of Hideo, and I got to know Paul as well. But I think we should dwell on Greenacre a little bit because Mrs. Mauzé, a Rockefeller family, was determined to build a park, a vest pocket park, because she loved Paley Park by Zion and Breen, and asked us if we were working with the family on a resort or two, but she asked Hideo, I think, at the end of one meeting, if we would like to do a little vest pocket park east of Paley Park, but inspired by Paley Park. And Hideo said, of course, why not? But Hid called, knocked on Mas Kinoshida's door, who sat right next to me. And Mas, being as much a sculptor, he was an architect as well, as a landscape architect, was just the right kind of guy. And of course, we knew we had to have a waterfall because our client wanted a waterfall. And we really liked the minimalist waterfall that Zion and Breen had done. But we knew we couldn't copy that. You just don't do those things. So we were determined to do an abstract version of a natural waterfall by breaking up the flat plane and creating multiple cubes and verticals and horizontals to give folks a feeling of a more natural water feature, more natural water element. And it did the same thing as Paley, maybe a little better. It made a little more noise than Paley, which dampened all of the traffic on the street to the south. It was the same size as Paley Park, but a lot more complex. It had an upper level terrace with a corten trellis with internal light structures, or internal light fixtures, and then an entry trellis with internal light fixtures, a little cafe tucked away into one wing wall, and then a small obelisk monumental stone arrangement at the very entrance with a very small source of water, which led along the east wall, paralleling the steps that descended to the lower level all the way into the lower fountain. So it is a lot more intricate, but it used Bertoia chairs just like Paley Park, and I think has been just as successful as Paley Park.